I'm Erin Stewart, and in today's AI UX Teardown, we're going to look at Relevance AI, an agentic platform. So this was a request from an audience member, so I'm excited to check it out today. This has been on my list for a while. I have heard this one a lot recently, so I'm excited to check it out. And if you like this one and there's a specific workflow automation or agentic platform that you'd like me to do an AI UX teardown of next, drop it in the comments. I'll try to cover a handful of these in the upcoming weeks, but wanted to kind of look at this cold from a perspective on AI UX, but really onboarding optimization as well. So we're going to focus more on what they're doing right and wrong from that perspective, and less so on the how I would use it for my specific business or for a client's business. But we'll inherently kind of touch on that indirectly as well. So let's look at the marketing site before we jump in. So first thing I'm seeing is try for free. I can also request a demo, but my goal is really just to try something for free. It has sort of that classic, okay, let me just prompt it from the marketing site, even if that really takes me into a sign up flow. So I do like that. It's a little weird that it's lower. I don't think that necessarily matters, but I don't know, there's something about this that makes it look like it's an image, and I could see people maybe not interacting with it as much as you might expect. I like that their customer stories are a little more visual, even better if they were videos or had videos in them. So it's click into one 3-minute read. Okay, yeah, video. I would maybe lead with the videos on the marketing site and have them embedded. But yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff well. And it's also it's clean and fresh, sort of little pixelated aesthetic is kind of cute. So it feels like it's not out of the box AI generated marketing site, but it's not going too crazy either. So I think they're striking a nice balance. We're talking about different. Okay, so I've got business development, AI research agent, create your own custom. So I do think build quickly, customize deeply, deploy confidently. For a tool like this, I think it's important to help people tackle high impact use cases and get a quick win, honestly, to sell the platform within their organization for you. But this one, so I'm seeing, so I could already anticipate one of their uphill battles from a sales standpoint and conversion standpoint is if it truly is a very robust platform and it performs really well, there's a lot you could do with it, but how do you get somebody down a path where it's a personalized set of recommendations for them very quickly? So it's a little overwhelming to start features, invent, metadata, scheduling, approvals, knowledge, version control, collaboration and sharing. Curious how they answer pulling in your own knowledge, partitioning, things like that. They call out Supabase as an integration notion. That's good. But it kind of raises some questions of well, what about all the other ones? Train once, reuse everywhere. Okay, so yeah, I definitely have some questions about what does it look like to get one of these set up? How much work do I have to do versus just kind of hooking an integration? And then there's definitely they're kind of calling out some things work solo or scale as a team. One risk I would see happening with a tool like this is you've got a bunch of people kind of going rogue, creating these little mini agents for their jobs. But are they communicating to their manager that they're testing that? Is a team talking about how they can, what the right use cases are for AI before people go build them and just create things they're interested in? And I think there's some risk in the first person to create something new and shiny and everyone wants to pass it around via email or Slack or whatever, and create a little bit of swirl or make there feel this pressure that everybody should be going rogue and doing those things when you really want it to be an organized effort. So yeah, I would have a lot of questions about what it looks like for Relevance to sell into a more enterprise organization and get that set up successfully. It makes me wonder if they have a service offering for it as well. Okay, I see functions, agents. I'm feeling their marketing site is a little bit hard for me to say, okay, I identify as this role, give me 5 use cases that are no-brainers. Okay, let me click through one that I like and let me see you spin that up for me and walk me through it. To me, that's what would sell me as an agency owner on this. But let's say we want to use it for a sales workflow, try through. Okay, so yeah, okay. And it also makes me wonder if they have ones that are kind of boilerplate stuff. But some of this stuff is yeah, okay. The idea of call prep, I hear this one a lot, but the truth is for me, if AI went and generated a briefing for an upcoming sales call with a B2B SaaS CEO, and it's a templated doc with a bunch of info in it, I don't find that replaces me looking at their marketing site and their LinkedIn profile for literally 1 minute each and what I'm looking for and how it resonates for me in how I create like a list of questions or things I'm going to touch on. You know, a 3-page like analysis that AI generated for me is going to have a lot of stuff I don't care about, and it may have pulled from references or resources that aren't what my trained eye would look for. So yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot more questions than answers so far. I will click into their enterprise because I'm curious if they're interesting trust center. Okay, and here I'm starting to see like when I think of a workflow automation tool, I think of these little like builder flows. So I'm kind of expecting to see that, but this is the first time that's been hinted at here. Equip your entire team, dedicated support, so custom plans, enablement, service. Yeah, it still feels like it's low touch, and I kind of wonder if that's going to be a downfall. Or I also noticed they were marketing this ops boot camp. So I kind of wonder if they're going after a model. We have a bunch of like a partner network of like certified experts in it that can implement for you. That could be cool. And certainly more scalable, right? Okay, so let's click try for free and see what they take us through. All right, so try for free, or actually, I'm just curious. I'm assuming this goes, let's see, create an agent that takes a longer form video, upload, and creates LinkedIn posts, blog content, and sales follow. Okay, so I'm connecting to my Google account. Okay, so this kind of hits me with the same, like, I'm seeing this more and more where we're still doing the like onboarding stepped experience, but it's creating a profile, but you know, if I'm not getting real value out of it, or if I don't really need to do it right now, I really just want to go in and experiment because I don't even know if I want an account, to be honest. I hate that they popped this in-app survey. It's like, well, no, I have not tried your Slack integration yet because I have not created my profile. So that's a missed timing. They didn't, whatever tool they're using for that, somebody should have configured that better. Not a huge deal though. Go through. Again, like these aren't like high friction by any means, but like I just kind of wish people would drop these unless they're like, pick the 1 or 3 questions that you really need and like ask these in a different way or at different timings. I mean, well, it's like, yeah, I don't like the way they framed that question, but that's fine. No, that's fine. I would also call, like, I think you would want to know if they're coming in through an LLM, so it's split that, as people are increasingly talking about, like either AEO or GEO, same thing, but answer or generative engine optimization. So I think like if you're going to ask that question, if it's that important to your marketing team, at least get the questions kind of correctly segmented or the answers correctly segmented. Okay, also hate that, but let's test it. So yep. Okay, opened the thing. Yeah, I think that's really weird that they put that in like that. All right, here we've leaned into the little pixelated animation. Like, I'm not mad at that, it makes me smile, but there's a lot you can do with these empty states, and I find this is very distracting to what I really should be looking at here. So I don't know, mixed feelings about it from a practicality standpoint. Create an agent, okay. It carried through what I asked. It's a little easy to miss, like I think it's easy to miss that it's working on it. And so like this animation that I'm watching like create something is a little bit better. Latest instructions, agent name. Okay, so now, okay, AI agent license. Oh yeah, it is kind of cute and fun. I definitely appreciate that they added some nice touches to it because otherwise it's kind of like a basic UI. How to use the tool, expert content distributor, AI that specializes in creative. Okay, I probably could upload my own. Interesting. This is a tool placeholder. Okay, but let's just leave it for now because it's not wrong. Yeah, no, so far so good. Weird that they have like their formatting for the numbers and stuff is off. Okay, so it's, yeah. So for the sake of this demo, like there were some things in here I would change, but I'm not sure if they'd be impactful to the output. So I kind of am in favor, if I'm demoing a platform like this, if I'm a new user, I would really just keep carrying forward. And I'd say, okay, I'm curious, like if I added some context here where like my goal is to show up in LLMs, like does that change that? Or is that like a whole different ballgame that I need to be thinking about that has nothing to do with this agent? Same thing here, the creating post variations. Like for me, I really want it to create 3 to 5 distinct posts that I could like drip over the course of a week or 2, maybe folded in with other content on the schedule. But, I think for what this is, it's fine. I just increase it to 5, mostly so I have ones I can throw away if I don't like them. And then, so let's go ahead and create the agent and see what it does. Okay, see, while I'm waiting for that, I'm just kind of looking at their navigation. So it kind of pulled me into a flow over here immediately. I'm pretty good with that, although, okay, this feels like I left where I was, but I don't know where my agent went. Okay, yeah, so confusing. No, I don't want this. Yeah, where did my guy go? No. Okay, yeah. Oh, super weird. Okay, so I'm not sure if that was user error on my part or what, but let's say create an AI agent that takes a video, a longer form video upload, and creates additional content based on it. Create 5 LinkedIn posts that work as a series. 1 SEO optimized blog post and a sales follow-up email sharing an insight from video. Okay, so that's the gist of what I was asking. Now I'm going through it again. Okay, now this time I see a different UI, and so it's on the left, untitled agent. So name it if I want to. I'll let it kind of run into automation. Sharing with inventors, so they're branding this like your inventor. Home of the AI workforce. It's like building me my agent, I guess, was the idea of the animation. Okay, and then yeah, it's like suggested. Okay, I mean, that's whatever. It just takes on blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's a little weird to accept me through that. Okay, it wants me to accept all. I'm just scanning. It kind of looks like the same gist of what it's doing. That's fine. This would really be more probably like a bump email, so it'd be a little different, but we'll just leave it like that for now. I'm just going to hit accept. And like I would change those usually, but let me just, for the sake of this. It's adding the recommended tools. Okay, and then it's going to connect my accounts. Test and review, give agent a task. First, so this is like a small UI thing, but like the idea that this is the primary CTA versus like this, whereas over here it's this. It's a little funky. The where do you want me to look? Okay, I auto named that, save agent. So, well, first let's test it, right? Okay, so now I see this UI for interacting with Victor, my AI agent. And then let me grab a video. Okay, so I dragged in a video and try to attach it. It still shows it up like this. I assume that's valid for an attachment. I'm just going to upload the video and see if I needed to give it prompts. I don't know. But it seems like it has a task flow. It should just respect. Okay, and I'm going to expect this will take a while, so we'll edit that out for time. Oh, it actually started running pretty quickly. I do like that it's showing me stuff. It can get a little crazy to like watch this, but it gives me a sense that something's happening. It's better than like where I'm like sitting here for 7 minutes waiting for something to generate. At this point, if it is going to take a while, having like a quick thing that's like notify me when done, whether that's a browser push notification, an email, both, whatever, and like I can choose those settings probably. But for now, I'll let it run. Realistically, I would have this running on one monitor while I was doing something else, and as I see it hit certain things that need my reviewer input, I would check it. I'm also, I think, when I'm thinking about this, like, would I ever use this tool? I think AI generated content or content like kind of repackaging and distribution is interesting to me, but I find that the more you use it, like, I don't know, the content just gets like worse and worse, and a little bit of high touch up front is really valuable. So that was the idea of like, okay, I'm going to record these like completely original videos and just like repackage the content in a more automated way. However, I'm realizing like these instructions don't really give anything that's unique to my voice. So, I would ideally want to train this agent on like a larger volume of my content, past blog posts, past LinkedIn posts, which ones perform the best. I'd want it to like ask me for what I maybe didn't know to upload that'd be beneficial. Or even just framing the like, who am I as like a person or a voice, and like how, like what would be the things that you should know about me to like emulate my point of view or respect it in the content. Again, if it's pulling from the video, that's fine. But it'll be interesting to see what this creates. While it's running that, I'm also gonna go ahead. Okay, so I saved and published that. Now, that did spark me a ton of questions of like, published in what way? Is that for me to use? Can other people see it? Can my team see it? So again, like just a lot of questions there. As you're thinking about onboarding organizations with multiple users, let's talk a little bit. So while this is, it actually finished running. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with how fast it did that, because it was like a 30 to 35 minute video. Okay, 5 parts. Let's see. Very exciting. I don't know. Like, that's kind of like a garbage post to me, but it's something if you needed content. So this one is better. It's it's taking from a slide that was on like what are the key criteria for high impact AI use cases, but it started falling apart here. Now it's probably leaning on the transcript audio track more than what was on the slide. I'd want it to somehow know both, I guess, but I understand the limitation there. Also, huge pet peeve is like it's clearly a female speaker, so it should be ERIN, or I think in most cases. So like AI always gets that wrong. Let's see. I do like that it like pulls out a quote, but it's like, I am Erin, so that's awkward. So again, that's like where it just didn't even give me a chance to kind of frame the point of view of the content. So I feel like other tools do this kind of thing better. Let's see, SEO. Yeah, and same thing here. Like now I'm thinking about it, like a 5-bullet outline of that blog post for me would go a really long way. And while I love the idea of like full automation, I really would rather it say, great, thanks for that video. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, answer them like audio or text, and I'll use that to shape the content because that makes it more likely that it's going to be good on the first pass or decent. Okay, and then I can obviously interact with it, rate it, things like that. So cool idea, but don't know that I would use it in this case. So then it's like, okay, well, if I came in here as a new potential user that oversees a team, and I think about, so I've already forgotten what their pricing is. So let's back out of this. Organization, account, manage organization. So, okay, plans and billing, actions available, credits available. And so here, like you can see, like I've already used over 300 credits, but like why or how? Seats, projects used. But here I don't see like, yeah, I'm trying to like, if I'm trying to give you my money, how do I do that? So, okay, here, that's super subtle. I think they could make that a little bit more forward, but okay, so they have a free trial, so I'm not getting kicked out at any point, which is, so if I like test it today, but I'm not ready to come back and do something meaningful with it for another week or 2, that's fine. I think that's really important to consider in these onboarding flows. Pro, $30 a month, I don't really have a problem with that. I would be more discerning about $350 a month in terms of how are we actually going to really use these tools, but I think that there's a natural sort of like upsell from Pro to Team. If you get good at using it here, then you would upgrade farther. And then enterprise, okay, evals, multi-org, enterprise security, etc. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious what their current mix of customers are, but they've got kind of the skeleton of going up market if they want to, or I assume they are trying to. I can also add more credits, okay. Yeah, because I guess I could see burning through, if I already used 300 credits, if I had like 5 or 10 agents, I assume that would go pretty fast, I don't know. Okay, and then I see team, that much. Yeah, I mean, I think that their current pricing is okay. In terms of driving team engagement, one of the things I'm starting to really notice across these tools that's like behind in terms of best practices for like B2B SaaS onboarding of like organizations, I like really don't even see a place to invite my team members. So it's like, hey, check this out. It's really cool. Or like, how do I share an agent? Like, what's that point where I'd be like excited to tell somebody about this? Here. Oh gosh, I almost even missed that this, I don't know, they could probably do a better layout. Okay, so I do have a space to add stuff, but like I kind of wish it, yeah, I just have some questions about like integrations, adding more knowledge base, things like that. And it just kind of dropped me into this. And like those features clearly exist, but are people using them if they're not getting properly introduced to them? I'm not sure. And I still don't see anywhere to share this, so I'm confused as to how you would organically get me to pre-plan, manage plan. So I see this little UI here. Okay, so maybe I have to go here, but I would really like to see, so their free tier is nice for the solo demo, but it would be nice, I don't know if I'm sure they can turn it on, but like I'd kind of like to demo Pro or Team and be able to share it with somebody without having to, like, even if it's a 7-day or 14-day or whatever free trial, I'd want to be able to see that without having to talk to somebody. And I also still think that like, yeah, that first time I'm proud of something I want to show somebody, how do I invite them in? And like that's where like to me like for this free, and even if it's just one other user, that would be better. So I think there's some improvement they could do there. And then yeah, like at some point as I had that first like success where I ran it, I would kind of want it to be like, hey, by the way, you can improve this 10x by uploading these three things to your knowledge base. And you can also improve it by adding X and Y integrations and like just kind of nudging me down a quick win. Like I see a ton of these, but like, yeah, to me, the real like workflow would be every time I publish a new YouTube video, that it could automatically run this. And then I probably would always want to approve the LinkedIn post, but if it could go as far as scheduling them, like that is more interesting to me once you put the effort into refining it. Or like that it spits it out into, I don't know, like a Google Doc that like, let's say I had like like person managing social media for the company. And we have had that in the past, but if it could send it to, have it all prepped in a Google Doc and like email that person saying, hey, they're ready for review and their job is to edit it and like get my approval, or I don't, like ideally you wouldn't even need anything besides the agent to do that, right? That's how I would want to push it a step further. And I assume that I can do some of that. I'm just like not seeing that support. Okay, interesting. Multi-agents. Like again, same thing. I didn't really get introduced to this idea. Same thing with like, hey, there's a marketplace full of a ton of other things I can do. And like what, I don't know. A lot of these just like don't really excite me that much. Category. Okay, and this is the workforce. Interesting. So nothing like really made me like super excited. Probably click in and try this one. I might test something like this. We probably have an old Trello account we can use. Linear could be interesting. But yeah, definitely one to watch, and definitely one that I have been hearing people experiment more with. But I think, and interesting that this one's for sale. So I assume something someone created. So yeah, it'd be cool to see what their marketplace grows to, because it does definitely like stand out to me that there's just a lot of redundancy if everybody wants the same easy use cases. Like they're not that novel, they're not really a competitive advantage at that point, but if it's like a keeping up with your competitors, like, and you just all need to be doing the same thing, plus it's on you to do that like extra mile that makes the difference.